Good morning, everyone. It's Monday, August 3rd from the San Antonio Express News. My name is Luis Vasquez, and this is your Express Briefing. All of the stories you need to know to start your day. You can expect sunny skies and a high of 98 in San Antonio today. The 2020-2021 high school sports season in Texas begins today. Schools in classes 4A to 1A are scheduled to begin workouts for football and volleyball. Volleyball season starts August 10th, and the first day for football is August 27th. The largest classifications, 6A and 5A, will wait one more month. The number of novel coronavirus cases in San Antonio were revised by Metro Health on Sunday, dropping to 41,082, but the number of deaths grew by 16, according to daily figures. Elizabeth Zavala has more on why the numbers changed in her latest report, which you can find at the link in the episode's description. And now, let's move on to the top stories for the day. In late May and early June, protesters rallied and marched for racial justice in San Antonio and other cities. There was shouting, passing of microphones, and personal contact, but there was also masks, sunshine, and fresh air. Public health officials say there's scant evidence protests contributed significantly to the spike, though they say the possibility can't be ruled out and extensive research would be needed to get a definitive answer. Bruce Selcraig explains what health experts' latest findings mean for the future of large gatherings and the politics of protests in cities like San Antonio. Early in the pandemic, Bexar County Judge Nelson Wolf and the Texas Supreme Court suspended evictions unless tenants posed an immediate criminal or safety threat. At the same time, Congress barred properties with federally backed mortgages or those participating in federal housing programs from filing evictions, a protection that ended July 24th. With those directives expired, the judges who oversee eviction cases in Bexar County can make their own decisions about whether to hold eviction court. Of the 5 judges who oversee the county's 4 Justice of the Peace courts, only 2 are hearing regular eviction cases, which has meant that a tenant's possibility of losing their home depends on the court precinct in which they live in the city. Marina Starleaf-Riker explores which areas are affected and what the uneven enforcement could create in the coming weeks. The mother of an inmate who died after an apparent drug overdose is upset by the way she was told of her son's condition and how visitation rules were enforced at the hospital. On Monday, Lydia Leos learned her 34-year-old son, Julian Denna, was arrested and being processed into the Bexar County Jail on a felony warrant for possession of a weapon. Hours later, Leos would be told by a doctor at Baptist Medical Center downtown that her son was 98% brain dead. Reporter Jacob Beltran took a closer look at what Leos and the Bexar County Sheriff's Office said about the situation and what happens next. At a time when crowded indoor activities are ill-advised and most public amenities such as park playgrounds and splash pads are closed, the Botanical Garden stands as an emerald oasis atop a breezy bluff just north of downtown. It provides a safe, sun-dappled refuge from a pandemic that refuses to go away, a place to get out of the house with plenty of open space to remain socially distant. Membership is up as San Antonians flock to the garden for a change of pace during the pandemic. Read more about the history and benefits of spending time outdoors in the latest from Richard Marini. To keep our readers up to date on the path of COVID-19, the Express News has built a dashboard of interactive graphics showing the spread of the virus in the San Antonio area, in Texas as a whole, and across the United States. We've also created an interactive map of San Antonio for COVID-19 testing sites that don't require a doctor's referral. You can find a link to the dashboard and the interactive map in this episode's description. Next up are your need-to-know headlines. You can find all of these headlines and more inside your Express News subscription. A court case seeking to force the leader of conservative advocacy group Empower Texans to register as a lobbyist could reveal more about the inner workings of the organization and others like it in Texas than ever known before. Longtime criminal prosecutor Catherine Babbitt, who led the team that sent twice convicted child killer Janine Jones back to prison on the verge of being set free, is retiring from the Bexar County District Attorney's Office. Mayor Ron Nirenberg's and Bexar County Judge Nelson Wolf's effort to delay the start of in-school instruction this fall in order to slow the spread of the coronavirus was shot down on Friday. Some teachers in San Antonio have been ordered to give virtual lessons from empty classrooms over their union's objections. Bexar County Judge Rosie Speedling Gonzalez is leading a specialty court that offers an alternative to prison for first-time domestic abuse offenders with drug problems. The Express News editorial board writes, quote, Governor Greg Abbott made the right call allowing voters more time to cast early ballots for the November general election. A caravan of activists, residents, and community groups gathered at a rally at the AT&T Center and traveled a 13-mile route from the east side to the west side for the Black Lives Matter Day of Action Saturday. The Guadalupe Blanco River Authority has reached a settlement with property owners on lakes where aging dams have sparked drawn-out court battles over who will pay for the repairs. The COVID-19 economic collapse has thrown one of San Antonio's most intractable problems, its shortage of skilled workers, into high relief. Greg Jefferson has more at the link in the episode's description. This week in history, on August 8, 1945, after the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima in Japan, workers in factories in the U.S. learned their factories were helping to build these deadly bombs. Germany and the U.S. were in an arms race to see who could build an atomic bomb. Ultimately, the U.S. won and ended World War II by dropping 2 atomic bombs on Japanese cities. The Dulnig Cemetery, with 34 known burials, lies within the 40-acre rectangle area founded as a municipal cemetery in 1853. The city sold sections of the new Eastside Cemetery to church groups and fraternal organizations to establish their own burial grounds, according to a National Park Service History of San Antonio National Cemetery. John Michael Johnson used boxing and tough love from his trainer to lift himself out of a rough neighborhood and a life as a juvenile delinquent to become a boxing champion, and now, at age 52, he wants one more battle in the ring to cap off a successful career. And now let's move on to the fun stuff. In support of equality and inclusion, Weathered Souls Brewing Company has donated $20,000 from proceeds of its Black is Beautiful brewing campaign to 100 Black men of San Antonio. Soaking pasta before cooking means less cooking time, and that means less heat in the kitchen. Paul Stevens brings you more cooking tips in his latest article. The UTSA Roadrunners are amid a 2-week period of walkthroughs as the team builds towards the start of fall practice, which begins Friday. San Antonio FC continued its unbeaten start to the USL season on Saturday, notching a 4-2 win against Austin Bold FC at Bold Stadium in Austin. After missing the 2019-2020 college seasons due to Tommy John surgery, UTSA senior Arturo Guajardo has been a standout with the Flying Chanclas in the Texas Collegiate League. Former San Antonio Symphony music director Sebastian Lang Lessing's new masterclass venture connects students with classical music stars. And that's all for today. This was your Express Briefing. My name is Luis Vasquez. Please consider becoming an Express News subscriber to get in-depth coverage on all the stories you heard today. Also, be sure to rate and review this podcast inside your Apple Podcast app, as it really helps the show. Have a wonderful day, everyone.